Hello everyone, it's Ronnie here again, and we're here at the new Nordic Wave of Change podcast. The summer has actually come here to Helsinki now, so the summer vacations are knocking on the door, and also Nordics is actually starting their summer vacation really soon. For July we will be away for a while, and during that time we will not either have any podcast episodes actually coming out. But today we're doing one of the last podcast episodes of the first season of the new Nordic Wave of Change podcast, and today we have a really exciting guest demystifying with us together the CBD industry here in the Nordics. We have an ex-alpine skier, someone who has worked at both Tesla and Red Bull, someone who has then transformed into an entrepreneur doing various different activities. Petri Nyländen, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's amazing to have you here, and I know you have a really colorful and interesting journey, which has now ended to doing something that has a bit challenges even from the societal side. And for those listeners who don't know you, could you explain a bit who you are and where your story started?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I have a two-sided background. So the pro athlete side of my background, and then the real adult work life, yeah, as you could say. And yeah, I used to be a pro skier, and after my sports career, I started studying business in University of Oulu. I graduated there, started my first job during my studies at Red Bull, and I think I was completely brainwashed by consumer brands and branding and those type of things. At the time, working with Red Bull, which is one of the coolest brands in the world, in my opinion. And yeah, after graduation, I ended up to Kesko, where I was headhunted to Tesla, and then been doing mainly sales management and marketing in my previous roles. And beginning of 2018, I was starting to think that, okay, maybe we should start something own, and then since that I've been full-time entrepreneur, and how I ended up to this CBD venture. We had a previous beverage brand with my previous co-founder and partner, and kind of like as a spin-off of that, we were pitching that venture for one investor, and the vision and the goals were pretty much similar. The one guy who was pitching another things from his side to the same investor, and the bridge was built from there. And it's classic startup things. What happens when you meet a lot of people and pitch your thing, and we met with Vellu, another founder of ours, beginning of 2020, just before the COVID hit. And we had a shared vision. We really clicked and hit it off immediately. And then we figured that, okay, we don't have any of the existing brands which is ready for this. This is something which we need to really build from the scratch. And then we started to do so. Then the COVID hit and everything became a little bit more difficult, but we still succeeded to do the branding and then launch the first product, and then now we are in that process, getting up more speed.
Really amazing. And you said that you worked previously in the beverages industry. What kind of journey from Red Bull, Tesla, and these then back to kind of maybe doing a bit similar things that Red Bull started with, like beverages? What did you start doing when you first started in the beverages industry?
At Red Bull, I was first kind of part-time trainee during my study years, and the role grew, and I was ended up doing a full-time job in the focusing on events and the marketing side of things in Finland, and then those are the first things I was doing in beverages. And of course, when we have launched now 2 completely new brands and 4 or 5 completely new products, you've been learning a lot about product development, brand building, designing, and those type of things. So quite a lot of things in the industry under my belt at the moment.
Really good. And I think it's really interesting. Like you're wearing the T-shirt of your new venture, so Yusub or Busy the other way around, right?
Yeah, it's literally the opposite of busy. So it's a calming, relaxing brand. We are selling Zen moments to people all over the world, and of course the beverages are the first product which we're doing. But yeah, the brand is more wholesome than that.
Exactly. And you're focusing on something real like that you can see a lot in the news, something really a popular topic, so CBD. And like lately I've been following a lot on different discussions and seeing what people are posting, and there has been a lot of like impactful people who have talked about, like, for example, cannabis for the moment. That's been a big topic. And I think people are often linking like these two together. So what is CBD actually? What does that do and where that does come from?
Yeah, it's really on the point and the most interesting part of this whole thing. Then when people are talking about cannabis, I think most of the people are thinking about the recreational use of cannabis, smoking joints and those type of things. And then when we go a little bit deeper, the industry is talking about legal cannabis, which means all the things you can legally do globally around cannabis. And that's where the CBD also comes in. So CBD is a cannabinoid, which is like substance coming out of the cannabis plant. And the most famous cannabinoids are THC, which is the one why you are smoking those joints, and then CBD, which is nothing like THC. It's a relaxing, calming, like substance coming out of the plant, but it doesn't get you high or hook you or anything like that. So and there is around a little bit over 100 different cannabinoids coming out of the cannabis plant, and yeah, the most advanced companies in the industry are doing research in different cannabinoids, but THC and CBD are the most famous ones, and then CBD is the one which we are working with.
Really good. And then like CBD, I've seen that already for years and years around the world. So that's something that you have seen when you're going to buy, for example, alcohol abroad. You've seen a lot like these alcohol brands that also have like something called CBD in them. And then that's kind of like the way how you extract it and how to make it popular. But then in Finland, for example, or the other Nordic countries, it's not been that popular. But then again, when we talk about new Nordics, so also Estonia, I think that's the first place where I actually started to see like shops and different things with CBD products. So how do you see like that this CBD, how is it looked and seen here in the Nordics? How does people perceive it? Do they know what that is?
I would say no, it's pretty new to people, and there's a lot of like misunderstanding and those type of like lack of knowledge around it. Of course, it all comes to regulation, that when you don't have the products, you don't have the brands, and you don't have the education for the consumers at the market, so you cannot really get the information. And that's what we try to do. We try to be as visible as and as loud as possible to educate that what CBD is and how is it as an ingredient. But yeah, you can see the most advanced markets, there's a lot of like healthy conscience, liberal people using CBD in a daily basis in different type of products, cosmetics, edibles, and then those type of things. And then yeah, we really need to get this regulation thing ready also in the Nordics and in the EU. So we have more supply of the products. We have more like relevant and high quality brands, and we can get more knowledge to the consumers also what the CBD is, how you can use it, because it's mixed the cannabis and the recreational use of cannabis, and when you mix those things, you are already like way out of the context, really, because there's nothing similar smoking a joint or using CBD as a healthy ingredient or a healthy product. So yeah, there's lack of knowledge, and that's why that the Nordic situation is a little bit behind the bigger markets.
It's really interesting to see that we haven't actually we are really judgmental about it without even like giving it a chance or giving the people a chance how to like perceive it and to learn about it. And I think like one of the reasons and one of the purposes of this podcast is actually to educate and to allow people to get more of that knowledge and more of that understanding. So taking like one step back and really like starting to look at what that CBD actually is. So CBD is a cannabinoid, and you get it from hemp. So what is hemp?
Hemp is basically cannabis plant.
And is it just like another name like hemp and marijuana, or is marijuana like a name that they use then for the recreational one?
Yeah, I'm not maybe the best expert of all those terminology things, but yeah, as we speak, cannabis sativa is maybe the most common name for the cannabis plant, which you can use for recreational use, or you can have cannabinoids out of it. And then there's industrial hemp, which is basically a variation of the plant where is no THC at all, so you cannot get high from industrial plant, industrial hemp. But there's not too much cannabinoids in that, so you need to have a not industrial version of the plant, as far as I know, to get cannabinoids out of it. But you can separate THC out of or all the cannabinoids which are making you high. You can take those out and take the more healthy and then other cannabinoids out of and separate them and use those as individual ingredients.
Okay. So in a sense, like when you have the plant, you kind of like remove all those intoxicating parts, and then you are left with like the kind of like relaxing and those which actually might have benefits for your health in many ways.
Yeah, and there is a lot of research going on, at least in US and Canada. Those listed companies who are in top of the industry are doing research in those different cannabinoids and what could be the potential health benefits of those and how you can mix those and what you can use them for and then yeah, it's really interesting world.
Yes, that's really interesting. And with that topic in mind, do you think that we will see other kinds of like cannabinoids in the market, not only CBD but maybe A or B or C versions of that also in the future?
Yeah, for sure, and we can already see those in the US market, and of course the main ingredients used in cannabis products in the US is THC and CBD, but the other ones are coming, and there's a lot of potential in the whole plant and all the cannabinoids coming out of it. So for sure, and yeah, everything comes to the regulation things in different markets and market areas, and those are moving forward step by step, and the research is the only thing to start. You need to research heavily of those things, and you need to be sure that those ingredients are safe and then those type of things. Really like traditional, just like with all the other ingredients you use for different type of products. Is it cosmetics or edibles or whatever it is, you need to do those type of like common things first before you can use those ingredients. So it's pretty much the same with all the things coming out of the cannabis.
And in the news, you have a lot read about the like kind of like issue that you can't say that surely yet that is cannabis actually bad or good, or is CBD actually bad or good, because it has been illegal, and that has like forced the industry to not be able to do enough research. So based on what are you at YouTube like saying that CBD is actually good? Has there come enough research now that you can actually state that it is good?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of research backing up those things, why people are most commonly using CBD. But I would say the process goes that way, that first you need to show that it's not harmful, and then you start to show how it's beneficial. And then now we are starting to be in that point that we can show that it's not harmful what comes to CBD or actually many other cannabinoids as well. But yeah, mainly CBD. There's a lot of researching and a lot of results. I think the most famous one is from WHO, that it's not harmful and it should be considered as a normal like ingredient, like vitamins or caffeine or something like that. So there's nothing which can harm people, and then there's been a few counter arguments to that, but those or researchers been able to pretty quickly like show that those counter arguments they are not right, and then there's like no research showing that CBD could be like harmful ingredient, and that's the start for everything. That's what you need to show first.
Then you can start playing with it, and then you can start having people to play with it, and then you can start to see like both the good sides of it as well.
Yeah, because safety is of course the main issue for everything what comes to consumer products. It needs to be safe, and then when we know that, then we can start to research more of the health benefits, and then after that comes the health claims. What you say that this ingredient is doing this or this, and you can put it in the can or in the box or in the packaging. So those are the steps.
Really good. And regulation-wise, I know that you have like started to do something in an industry that it's not certain. So you're not like, it's like this normal entrepreneurial problem that you have that you can't be certain what is happening next. And now if we look at a bit of on the future, especially in the Nordics, how do you think like the CBD market will evolve? How will the regulations evolve in the near future? Do you think like next year we will already see CBD products on the market?
Yeah, for sure. You need to divide the things in the regulation, that there's the things how authorities see CBD as an ingredient, and then of course for our business the main thing is that when the novel food license will be activated, and then we can get the license to use CBD in food and beverage industry. And the situation as a whole, when we look at CBD as an ingredient, the EU Court of Justice ruled end of last year that CBD should be taken out from all the drug categories and those type of things, and it should be considered as a just regular ingredient, and there should be no limitation of free movement of goods in the single market of the EU, and that makes things interesting since there's local rulings which are against that EU Court of Justice ruling. For example, in Finland, the CBD ruling is a little bit different than the Court of Justice had said. And it's tricky. It's really, really tricky, since it shouldn't be that way. EU single market doesn't work if local rulings are made without any like real base for the decisions. But yeah, that's the thing which needs to get like harmonized in all the EU countries, that they need to really act based on that Court of Justice ruling, and if not, they need to show something like research or something that why they are regulating this more heavily, and then because basically nowhere is that type of research. I would say when the regulation will be harmonized, we can see CBD products which are not food and beverage products, but like CBD oils or cosmetics or those type of things. We should see them more in the Nordic countries and all the EU countries, because it should be based on that Court of Justice ruling. It should be legal now. And what comes to food and beverage, there's the novel food process which is going on. Our best estimate says that it takes like 1 year still to get results. Maybe by the end of this year we can get some feedback, but maybe 1 year to get the food and beverage market open. And then we can see again how fast it will be harmonized between all the countries and then who are doing what after that. The baseline is that when the EU-wide novel food license comes active, all the markets should go with that. Again, if they don't have something to prove that the ingredient is harmful. But the most interesting thing and the special thing about everything and all of this is that it's coming from cannabis plant, which is basically considered as a drug, and then because of that everything comes political and more difficult than, for example, like some new sources of protein. It's a little bit more straightforward, since you just need to do the safety things and then do the process, and there's nothing those type of things to consider as it is with cannabis.
Exactly. And how do the different Nordic countries differ from each other when it comes to these kind of like CBD policies? I know, like I mentioned in the start, Estonia, they've been, I think, legalized it a year ago or more than that. And I think they have been a lot leading change. But how is it, for example, with Sweden or Norway or Denmark?
Yeah, what I know, Finland and Sweden are pretty much similar what comes to stigma around cannabis. And there's a lot of people against it, but yeah, basically the reason is the same, that there's lack of knowledge. Denmark is a little bit more liberal, I would say, and they will probably follow the rulings of the EU Commission about these things. And I don't know too much about situation in Norway. What I have heard about Iceland is that they use cannabis per capita like more than any other country in EU. So that's a fun fact. But yeah, I don't know how they're gonna end up doing with the regulation. Probably they will see what the EU Commission says, and then they will see if they're gonna harmonize their own regulation or no. But yeah, Estonia is moving forward. There's a lot of interest to jump into this industry, like collect knowledge, collect talents, collect companies, investments, and everything to Estonia, and then really be in the front line of this industry in Europe. And yeah, I would suggest all the other markets to try to do the same, because it's going to be a big industry, and why not to jump in it. But because of the stigma, I would say we are a little bit late in Finland, and then Sweden is a little bit difficult too, but we will see what happens.
So let's go back a bit and look more at Jusuban and the things that you're doing. So are you targeting with your product like a global audience, or are you focusing on selling it in Finland?
We have basically two focus markets at first point. One of them is Nordic countries, and one of them is Benelux countries, mainly because another founder of ours is living in Luxembourg. So we have a kind of like hub there and knowledge and a local guy in that market area. And of course, there's like supporting things. Logistically, the countries are pretty close. There is synergy between them. We know markets and the culture in Nordic countries, so it's easy for us to operate in all the countries. And then of course, when Velu is living in Luxembourg, he knows the culture and markets in that area. So we try to combine those two, and whole complete market potential is somewhere between 50 to 60 million. So that's where we focus on. So it's not only Finland, and after that we are aiming to expand, but let's see how things goes with the regulation and those type of things. But those are the markets we are focusing at the first phase.
And right now you have already launched your first drink, but it's CBD free, right?
Yeah, we have the first product in Luxembourg, Sweden, and in Finland, and it's CBD free, obviously, because we cannot sell CBD beverages in those countries. We also have the CBD product ready as well. The first production batch is out already, and we are able to sell it probably in the Netherlands and then probably also to UK. And we are a little bit investigating where we will sell it. There's a lot of e-com platforms operating, maybe UK based, but they can also sell online to the countries who are more like permitted for CBD. So we will see and also having discussions that where we can sell those CBD drinks, but that's what we know for sure, that it's not the Nordic countries in the first phase.
How about Estonia? Are you allowed to sell there already food-based products?
Estonia, it's also a bit tricky. They allow CBD and kind of like light cannabis products, but they, in my knowledge, they are not allowing CBD as a beverage ingredient or food ingredient. So we need to see and investigate that a little bit, because it's super tricky. If you allow CBD as a product, you can even allow recreational use of the whole cannabis, but you still don't have EU-wide license to use CBD in a food and beverage products. It's a little bit different process. So it's actually easier to allow, because you can take CBD out of the cannabis plant and even smoke it. You can only smoke CBD, and that's allowed in Estonia.
Okay.
You can allow that in different markets, but it doesn't mean that you can use CBD in food and beverage products. So that's why it's really hard to navigate in the whole regulatory landscape, because it's a mess. There is products which are not compliant. They are still on the shelves of the stores and cafeterias. Same thing is in UK. I heard that there's basically none of those CBD beverages compliant to the local market, but there's like a ton of products already in the stores, and all of those have been applying the novel food application, and no one has it yet. So we could say that we are as compliant as all the others in the UK market, even though we are not compliant, but any other product isn't. So now you probably understand how this is so difficult to navigate and try to operate in the landscape, but it's also the fun of it.
Yeah.
It makes it really, really challenging, and the learning curve is huge when you try to figure out what we're going to do next.
It doesn't seem like a traditional startup, because you're like a lot of lawyer work. You have to read a lot of regulations, a lot of papers, and not that much focus actually on the product for the moment, but actually how to get the product out there, and then the product will follow.
Exactly. That's why I'm so lucky that Vello is a lawyer.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it's so unique, like a unique approach to do something that in the end, based on research, is actually good, and that's those things we should get out there. When you look more on kind of the future of CBD, the future here in the Nordic region, what do you think will be the roadmap for you? You were talking that in 1 year probably the regulations will set off, but what is going to happen in the user roadmap? What all things are you going to do? You did an amazing marketing campaign here, at least just a while ago.
Yeah, we try to, as mentioned, be as visible and as loud, and then try to educate all the counterparts what comes to legal cannabis industry as a whole and what comes to CBD. And we have hands full of work to do that. But we are also in a front line in the whole EU market what comes to legal cannabis. So we try to network. We try to partner up with right partners to do these same things in other countries as well. And I would say Nordic countries, there is really healthy conscious consumers, and even though there's stigma for cannabis, I would say there's liberal people willing to test healthy things. So I strongly believe that the whole industry will grow fast in the Nordic countries after the regulation comes clear and it becomes more accessible for consumers to buy new products and test new products in easy ways. And that's the whole point for the whole regulation, I would say, that now when the regulation is a mess, you don't really know, can you sell CBD oil in some store in Finland or not? Can you open an online store and sell CBD oil to Finland or to Sweden or to Denmark or other Nordic countries? You don't really know that somebody is trying and you can see the products, but you are not really sure, is this legal? And when there's a lot of opportunistic players trying to cash a quick buck out of it, which we can see a lot in the industry, when the regulation finalizes, it takes off the legal risk for the startups and for the companies to do business. Then you really start to see high quality brands, high quality products, which has developed to the top notch for the consumer to easily access and easily safely try those products and learn more about it. And then you don't need to go to some shady special store to buy CBD oil, for example, or something like that. You can just go to just regular store or convenience store or somewhere like that and buy the product and then rely on it, and then that's how you learn, and you can test and feel and if it's suitable for you. And after that, I believe that the market will grow and people will take those products as a daily use in the Nordics.
So CBD, in a sense, for example, in your drinks, how you do it is that you infuse it into the drink itself. So it becomes a bit like the vitamin well waters or these other vitamin products that you have. Is it pricey to do that? Will the use of drinks differ in price, for example, largely from the vitamin water bottle that you buy?
CBD as a ingredient is a little bit more expensive to traditional beverage ingredients, so that can increase the prices a little bit. But in other way, the production process, those things are not they're not differing for traditional beverage production processes, or there's nothing special in that. So it shouldn't be super expensive, even though CBD drinks are expensive in the US, but it's still because they are sold in special stores and so. But when the novel food process finalizes, when the market opens and the sales channels becomes normal, like with the traditional beverages, then the price shouldn't be too much higher. Maybe a little bit, and it depends on the price of the ingredient, but nothing special in the other things.
And if you compare it to maybe vitamins to CBD, is the biggest difference how fast you feel it? If you then, I think, take for example, omega-3 amino acids every day or fatty acids every day, and I don't feel anything. I would say that, I've read a lot that they will do that and that for me, but not never felt that effect. But with the CBD, you feel the effect in a pretty fast while. Is it so?
Yeah, of course it's personal for everybody. How do you feel it? Is it a long-term effect for a daily, because of the daily use, or do you feel it immediately if you take one sip of beverage or something? I would say you really should consider CBD as a vitamins and other traditional supplements. It's nothing special in it. It's just like any other ingredient or supplement what you put in your food and or beverage. All the hype comes only for that it's from cannabis plant.
Okay.
There is nothing in the functionalities or any other things, safety or whatever in CBD, which should be anything other than comparing to it to vitamin C or caffeine or those things.
So why should I use CBD? What does it do to me, and what are the like long-term benefits, for example? Why would I use it daily?
Yeah, that's the thing where the research is at the moment. People are mainly using CBD for lowering anxiety, improving quality of sleep, recovery and pain relief, and some of people are using it for getting better focus. But it's more of coming when you lower your anxiety levels and then decrease your energy levels, you get the focus from there. But yeah, those calming effects, focus effects, pain relief, quality of sleep, those type of things are the most common things why people are using CBD. And then as mentioned, it's individual, it's personal for everyone if it works. But it's same thing with everything. Somebody don't like coffee because caffeine is not good for them. Somebody likes it and somebody needs it. So yeah, everything is individual for when you start to use supplements and those things.
And Yusupis now you're a beverages company, but if you think about vitamins, they started as pills or powder or other things. So do you think that you will also emerge in doing some kind of like supplements out of that in other forms than drinks, or are you going to focus on like the food and beverages market?
We will see. We wanted to build a brand which is selling Zen moments. And the 10 moment experience for the consumers. So we probably will use that as a guideline for product development in the future, that we really need to want to create products which will match to that you will take your time and take the 10 moment and then we will help you with your daily things. That way, we believe that beverages is a good way to start, since with beverages we will end up being in the shelves of like normal grocery stores and convenience stores and the places where the consumers are anyway, and then the kind of drinks is easy for consumer to try CBD or other supplements when you know that when you drink this can, there is this and this amount of these ingredients, these supplements. And if you take a bottle of just that supplement, you cannot be sure in home am I overdosing or something. Mm-hmm. So it's more difficult to control those amounts, especially when you don't know enough. It's hard to use supplements, so that's why we chose beverages. But yeah, we will see what we end up doing. The brand gives us guidelines, and the beverages are a good start. But I think there is space to stretch the brand a little bit and then do different types of products if it's something consumers want.
Really, really interesting. And it was interesting you brought out this overdosing. I think like that's one of the things that I've read most about, like that you can't, in a sense, like overdose on CBD or cannabis itself. Is it so? Is it like it's like we should eat it so much that it actually like does any harm to you? Has that been proven already?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. What I've read from the research, when CBD is used for medical use, the amounts can be huge. If they are like targeted to treat something, the amounts are big, and it's not too easy to overdose with CBD, and even though you would drink a bottle of CBD oil, I don't know what would be the overdose effects. It's not too harmful.
Yeah.
Or you can overdose with anything. You can overdose with carrots if you want.
Makes sense.
So you kind of do like too much of anything, but yeah, it's pretty hard. The most common way to measure CBD intake is milligrams, and for example, our CBD beverage product contains 10 milligrams of CBD per can. Some type of recommendations for like daily regular use without any like medical treatment focus is somewhere between 70 to 90 milligrams. But the most common advice is that you should really try and see what's your amount. Start small and then climb up if needed. If you don't feel the effect or you want more effect or the same, pretty much the same than with caffeine, for example.
So a cup doesn't keep you awake, so then you drink 10 and then you're shaking.
There are milligrams in the energy drinks. You can see the amount of caffeine and you can monitor your caffeine intake just the same way than CBD.
Really, really, really interesting. You're kind of like breaking it down and making CBD so like available and so easily to understand that anyone can kind of like learn and use it. And I think this is a really great way to educate also people now, first through like having a normal product out there, but then in the future also infusing the CBD part to that, and then people can continue with that like safe and well-known brand to do that. That kind of takes us to the question that we have a lot of beverages producers already here in Finland. They, of course, we don't know, have they already started to work on these? Maybe they have, some probably has. How do you think that, what do you think their take will be if we would say that next Monday everyone says that now CBD is allowed to do, you can do it now? What would the big players like Hartwall or any one of these do?
I'm sure they are familiar with the ingredient. Probably they've been doing some research, some planning, what they could do after the market opens. They normally don't want to take too much risk. We see that probably the thing will be pretty much the same than in many other things compared to this, that startups are doing the product development and taking the risk in the first place, and then startups will start to partner up with the bigger players. Are they global? Are they local? I don't know about that, but you can see a lot of big global players to build some funds and seeking partners at the moment, and scouting the best brands in different markets who they could partner with. So I think that's the way to do it for the big players. And you can already see some huge investments in the US and in Canada and in Japan from the big companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and those players. So time shows what the Finnish players gonna do and what the Nordic players gonna do. And there's a lot of if you, for example, see Denmark, there's big groups like Carlsberg. They for sure have some plans what comes to CBD, but we will see what those are.
It's interesting to see like how you're like a startup, you're leading kind of this change, but I think like the world changes a lot when you see the first bottle of Coca-Cola CBD edition, for example. It's like probably going to be a big change because Coca-Cola is all over the world already. Really interesting. So how do you think that we could fuel kind of like this education of CBD? How could we get more people here in the Nordic to talk about it? And what could maybe the listeners, how could they join the wave of change of introducing CBD to markets and fueling like this good thing to actually be implemented here?
Yeah, the open discussion is one thing, I would say. And there's lack of it at the moment. When you mention cannabis for the media companies, for example, that if you have some story around it, it normally stops somewhere in those offices. So open discussion, more talking about it, and then really like taking those two things, what is CBD in a wellness products and what is recreational use of cannabis, really highlight that there's a difference between those. One friend of mine told me that it's like comparing drinking alcohol-free beer to drinking like bottle of vodka. So it's so far from each other. And open discussion is the first thing. Then I would say research would be also good to do it more also in a local level, and then target research resources to look more in the cannabinoids, look more in the CBD, look more in the whole legal cannabis things, and then after you get the results from there, we again know more and can discuss more openly about it, and let's take it out from the political discussions to like normal discussion.
And I know there is probably a lot of the listeners out there, but also a lot of people out there who are looking to find trustable resources where to read and how to learn about it. Where would you say that people should go to find the information? Probably one way is to contact you or like be in contact to your webpage, through your webpage. But what other ways are there to find this information and know that it's legit?
Yeah, that's a really good question, since there's not too much big players in the market in the Nordics and like trustworthy brands. You can really cannot get access to the products and to the brands. I would turn my head towards US and then check out the biggest brands there. Go to their websites to check out more how they write about it, and then there's normally links also to different sources of information. Also, same thing what comes to UK. There's bigger brands and also like bigger marketplaces and platforms where you can buy CBD products. They normally have information about the whole thing, and you can learn more. And then you can find from those marketplaces and platforms, you can find the brands and the products which are like the most popular ones, and then go to their website again and then seek more information. And that's how I would start. And of course, you can always contact us and we can help out. We get a lot of information from our ingredient supplier, big player in the US market, one of the biggest and trustworthy players, used as an ingredient in almost all the top beverages sold in the US and UK. So it's really, really trustworthy, but it's not so consumer-oriented company. So as a consumer, it's probably a bit hard to get information from them, but yeah, we can always help out.
Oh. And that's actually something we could maybe together also look at, like how could we, like I was looking through your webpage and I saw that you already had like some information there, like some kind of data bank about like knowledge about this, but it could be actually really interesting to work on it to kind of create this like go-to media bank about the CBD. This is where you find the information, and maybe even have like some webinars or events around it to educate people and let them like ask their hard questions.
For sure, and we are actually trying to build a Nordic level syndicate, kind of like for companies and players and counterparts who are working in a legal cannabis industry and around CBD in the Nordics. Would like to collect those counterparts together and then build some kind of a group which could provide information, and then it would be always easy to contact that. You know that you can contact those guys and they will tell everything about CBD and legal cannabis for you, and that's the plan. A little bit of work in progress still, but yeah, pushing forward with that also.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think like the biggest problem for the moment is that it's really hard to find information that you can trust. And until like the big players start to talk about it, then it's still about like where do you find that relevant information and that kind of like thought leadership in this like environment.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's errors in governmental web pages as well. So it's really difficult to find the trustworthy and right and correct information. And it's our responsibility to try to solve that problem since everything starts from the consumers, and if consumers need more information, we need to provide more information to the consumer. That's the only thing to do it.
Exactly. And now you're in the stage that you have your first products selling out there, though without the CBD. So if someone would like to purchase and test the user product, where do they find the products?
The CBD-free product in Finland is selling in S-Group stores. You can find the map from our webpage. And then there's selected K-Group stores in the capital city area, basically, and then a couple of restaurants and cafeterias, and then those type of places selling Usub. The easiest way is to go our webpage and then see the map where all the locations are. Of course, then there's places in Sweden and Luxembourg, and then what comes to the CBD version, we try to open up some sales channels to those markets which are allowing it, but it will probably be a short while before we can order or consumers can order a Usub to Finland, unfortunately, but hopefully soon.
And how do people find your webpage? What is the address to that?
usubdrinks.com.
Jusdrinks.com. Okay, that's easy. And we probably put it here in the comments section or tag section of the video as well, so you'll find the information there.
Yeah, we are pretty active in Instagram as well. So usubdrinks is the account name in that channel as well.
Really good. And then if someone wants to follow you and follow your thought leadership without this environment, how can they follow you?
I think LinkedIn is the best way to find me. Just put my name to the search and hit enter, and professionally that's the best way.
Really good. And then if you have some say here in the end, what would you like to highlight about like the whole conversation about the whole CBD industry and the Nordics? Do you have like some summarizing thoughts here in the end, or something you would like to tell everyone?
Well, we always say that when we tell that we are working in a legal cannabis industry, the legal is there for a reason. So it's not just cannabis industry, and it's not related to drugs or anything illegal. It's really like a professional industry. Globally, there is a lot of high talented professionals working around the legal cannabis industry, doing really interesting things, and this is how we should consider the whole thing. All the high quality players are playing by the book. That's why we are waiting so eagerly to get the regulation. We don't want to do anything illegal. We want to play by the rules. So yeah, that's it. It's legal cannabis industry for a reason, and then that's how we should consider it. And then let's try to learn more and then understand that CBD is not getting high.
Exactly. So I think it was a super exciting conversation. I learned a lot. So hopefully our listeners learn a lot. And then as stated here in the last words, to find more information at the Usub Drinks webpage, or then you can browse the internet to different sources. And I think that's something that Usub and other Nordic players will actually come out with really soon. So a bit of more data bank for you to read more about this and get used to it. And then hopefully we don't have to wait 5 or 10 years to see your real product out there in the market, but it happens a bit sooner. So waiting for that and waiting to get to drink that. And now I have a couple of the Usub drinks without the CBD here on the table. And maybe my last question is that will the taste change when you infuse it with the CBD?
Basically not. There's technology how you can infuse CBD to beverages without compromising the taste profile. So it's pretty easy, or easy is a little bit of a wrong term. It's not after the ingredient is ready, it's easy. You just drop it in. But getting the right ingredients is super hard. It took a year from our team to find the right ingredient and get it to really go well to the product. But after everything is done, the taste profile is the same, and it's really tasty product, and it doesn't taste like hemp or doesn't taste like cannabis. It's tasteless.
Okay.
The ingredient is tasteless.
Exactly. So it's a bit similar again to the vitamin drinks, so you don't taste the vitamins there. Or
Exactly.
don't even know what vitamins taste like actually. Cool. But I'm super thankful for having you here. This was a super interesting conversation, and I think we will be back actually with you again when there has been a progress in the whole environment, and we can see like new stuff and new things coming up. So thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today. And I want to wish you the best possible summer, and for everyone listening, like it's going to be a hot summer, so please enjoy some usable beverages because they will be extremely refreshing and you will get a Zen vibe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Thank you.